And for more on the changing role of Pakistan and a lot of other subjects, earlier I spoke to Michael Scheuer, former CIA intelligence officer and adjunct professor of security studies at Georgetown University. We had a whole lot to talk about, but to start off, I did ask him about Pakistan and how certain members of Congress see the country as the next enemy of the United States.
It's a silly notion, but then Senator Graham's a silly man. He has never seen a war he doesn't like, and he's always out looking for more war. Pakistan is simply not enjoying the cordiality of the United States at the moment because it's looking out for its own national interests. President Obama, Prime Minister Cameron have surrendered in Afghanistan. They're pulling out troops. They're going to leave Pakistan with an enormous mess to clean up. And what the Pakistanis are doing is what all countries need to do, and that's look after their own national interests. In what Senator Graham, Secretary Clinton, Senator McCain, President Obama, they want the Pakistanis to do our dirty work for us. And the Pakistanis have simply said, we've supported you for 11 years. We can't do it anymore. You're killing our stability.
I know I was part of a seminar that was one of the main hosts was the former Director General of the ISI during 9/11, and he said it's an immense amount of money to host the U.S. and it's immense amount of money to host all the people who have left Afghanistan, come over there and have no place to go. And so that was one of the major points. But he also said, and this is a little different subject, but this is about Osama bin Laden, the killing there. He said the country was extremely embarrassed, but also very angry that the U.S. did not work with Pakistan. If Pakistan has been so, basically has hosted the U.S. military there, why is it that there still is so little trust between the two countries?
Because the Pakistanis won't do everything we ask them to do. The United States government, Senator Graham or whoever you mentioned, has a real inability to understand that our interests are not Pakistan's interests. The Pakistanis have helped us more than anyone has a right to expect. And now we're there 10 years. We haven't won the war. We're going to leave without winning. We're leaving the Pakistanis with a mess.
What do you mean when you say a mess?
Well, Afghanistan, they cannot tolerate Karzai's government. Karzai's government is close to the Iranians, it's close to the Russians, it's closer to the Indians of all people, and it poses a threat to Pakistani security on their western border. So that has to go. They have to stop the civil war in the country. They have to stop the war that's going on their own territory because of their help for the United States. So they have a number of problems which I think amount to a mess, and they're going to be left high and dry when we leave.
I want to switch gears now to news from today, a major press conference going on all afternoon with the FBI, Attorney General Eric Holder. The U.S. government apparently has arrested a man they say is to blame. They say they foiled a plot by this man, possibly in conjunction with Mexican drug cartels, to assassinate the Saudi ambassador to the United States. Talk about what your thoughts are about this.
Well, the question, of course, is it was run by what they call informant of the FBI, and that raises the possibility of just it being another sting. One of the biggest problems in the United States for telling what the terrorist threat is in our country is that the FBI runs these sting operations and then claims great credit for breaking up a plot that wouldn't have existed except that they lured somebody into doing it. My initial reaction is if the Iranians wanted to kill a Saudi ambassador, why do it in the United States when it would cause a war between the United States and Iran? Do it in Thailand. Do it in Cambodia. Do it in Saudi Arabia. But why do it here? So
you're saying there's little legitimacy to this major uncovered plot that we're hearing about today?
Right now it has to be. And I heard the Attorney General and FBI Director say, well, we're not saying the Iranian government is involved in it, just part of the Iranian government. We don't know if Ahmadinejad knew about it. I think what you need to keep in mind is that the Saudis want the Iranians destroyed. The Israelis want the Iranians destroyed. The Congress in the United States is owned by Israel, and so the Congress wants Iran destroyed. And this is an opportunity for them to push for war. And so I think we have to be very careful until we find out exactly who is behind this plot.
But an opportunity for the U.S. government to push for war. I mean, this is a time when nobody in this country would want war, where, you know, our troop levels are exhausted, certainly still in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Libya to some capacity. Why on earth would you say that there are people in this government that want more war?
Because I've listened to Senator Graham, and I've listened to Senator McCain, and I've listened to Senator Joe Lieberman, and I've listened to Secretary Clinton. They all want to kill the Iranians and bomb the Iranians and destroy the Iranians. And the Iranians are as much a threat to the United States as my shoes are to the United States. But what we don't need is any kind of a conflict with the Iranians, because what that will do is bring the whole Islamic world down on top of us.
I want to talk now, a lot of what's kind of making news these days is the Republican presidential field. Another debate tonight. Iran is, of course, one topic they've been asked about. But I want to get your reaction in terms of President Obama's performance, year 3, not quite on the campaign trail against a candidate, because there's certainly a whole field of them right now. But what do you think President Obama is going to need to do foreign policy-wise to really improve his record in the next year?
I don't think there's anything he can do. He's locked up tight with the Israelis. The Middle Eastern peace process is going nowhere. He can't do much about trade with China because the Chinese are our biggest lenders. The Saudis, we will continue to support the Saudis because we need their oil, and they also buy a lot of our debt. So the only thing he really has going for him in foreign policy at the moment is the drone attacks in Pakistan, and so we'll probably see more and more of those.
And that was Michael Scheuer, former CIA intelligence officer and adjunct professor of security studies at Georgetown University.